Only two of us.
You would like to stand here so
Okay.
the photographers can...
Sure, yeah. Just the two of us.
Da-da-da. All right. Yeah.
Over here, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You guys want something to drink?
Have a water, please. Nice glasses.
Hi.
You have your microphones over there. Okay, let's fire off with the first question.
Hi, I'm Daniel from Leppard in Switzerland. I've heard rumors that you're planning a new record, and of course we would love to hear some more details about that. But beside that, I stumbled upon a quote of Dee Snider recently. He said they with Twisted Sister wouldn't do another record because nobody wants to hear new songs from old bands anyway. What do you say about that?
Depends who the band is. He may be right, he may be wrong, I don't know. That's Dee's decision too. If he doesn't want to make any more new music with Twisted Sister, that's his decision. But we believe that there is room for new music because it just helps you growth, and we think we've still got plenty of growing to do. So yes, to answer the first part of your question, there is a new album. It's pretty much finished and it's due out about October, we think.
Thank you. Speak up.
Speak up!
Hi guys,
Over here.
over here. You want Sweden Rock Magazine. I read that you're all doing lead vocals on your album. How did you decide to do that?
There is one song
Yeah.
where we step up to the mic. Actually, it's a great song. It's one of Joe's songs, and it is a first for the band. You know, Leppard through the years has become known as a hard rock band that has this vocal mountain on top of it. We all sing and we all take great pride in our ability to do that. So it very, very much is a feature of the band, and all the different styles that we touched upon on the new record, the one thing that ties that all together is the Def Leppard vocal sound. So this was a great opportunity. It was Joe's idea, and he said, why don't we all just take turns in singing a couple of lines in the verses of this song, and it kind of showcases Def Leppard's vocal abilities in a very different way. So it's a first for us.
Even Rick Allen sings a line, so yeah. I mean, everybody.
He sings like this. Whoa! Yeah. And he puts his hand in the air.
Yeah.
He doesn't really, no.
No.
Hi guys, I'm Barbara of Rock Hard Italy and Linear Rock. Here I am.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, welcome. The Beatles had George Martin, and you guys, back in the multi-platinum days, invented a sound with the mighty Mutt Lange. Nowadays, young bands have the tendency to do everything on their own. How can you explain to young musicians how the figure of a great producer is very important, even if you have the talent and you know how to write great songs?
Well, I can't, because it's a different era to when we were working with or the Beatles are working with George Martin. This day and age, most bands are signed to a label that you've never heard of, or a small label. There's not many of the big labels left that are signing rock. All they're signing is pop. So unless you're in one direction, you're not going to get a deal where you can afford what you might call a big name producer. A lot of these kids are making really good records on laptops or in their kitchen, and you're not going to get a producer to get involved in that. So they rely on really good engineers or on their own ability to produce, which I don't think is a bad thing, to be quite honest, because Mutt Lange is probably the last of the great producers that worked with multi-platinum acts. There hasn't been many more come through. There's a handful of some decent records we've made over the last 15, 20 years, but not where the producer gets as much name credit as the band. When we were selling records in AC/DC and Foreigner and Bryan Adams, he got mentioned as much as the bands, and that doesn't happen anymore. So there aren't really that many producers around. I don't think it should be that important. The important thing should be that the band get the chance to actually record songs that they've written, and hopefully they break through. You know, like a band like Muse, they've just done an album with Mutt, but they did their first like 12 years without him, and they did okay.
Hi, I'm Matthias from a TV show called Retro, and I wonder, it's a question about a different band. Mötley Crüe is doing their last run now. What do you think their biggest contribution to the history of hard rock and metal will be, their legacy?
Tattoos, spinning drum risers. They put on a great show. They're like a rock and roll circus. You know, you read the book and they rewrote the rules on how to be the debauchery side of rock and roll, which is sad, really, in a way, because it maybe overshadows the music. And I believe that Nikki Sixx is a really good songwriter, but sometimes their ability to get on the front page for marrying models or getting into fights has overshadowed their music somewhat. But we toured with Crüe 3 years ago in the UK, and they put on a great show. So it's sad, really, but you know, the more these bands go away, the more room there is for us to keep going. So it's fine.
Hi, this is Sasha from Croatia. And speaking about young bands, very recently you contributed a song to the very promising British band Vega, which I personally like a lot. And I was hoping when you announced a UK tour for December or something, that you will bring them to support you, just like AC/DC took you in 1979, which helped you a lot.
Yes, it did. Sadly, we're not taking Vega on the British tour. We've got obviously Whitesnake are doing it, but Black Star Riders are doing it. They've got a new album out. They're a new band as well, even though they're based around the old Thin Lizzy. But it's a new name, and they're only on their second record. And the promoters were more keen on a band like Black Star Riders than they were Vega. Vega were great when I took them on the Down and Outs thing. They were great, and that song, I contributed the song, but the song is 14 years old. You know, I mean, we recorded it as a B-side in 2002 or something, you know. They just happened to like it, so I didn't really have anything to do with that, other than Nick just told me we'd recorded that song. I was like, okay, thanks. But I mean, we would have taken them out had the opportunity arisen, but the promoters, we don't really get involved too much in who we play with. We just hope there is somebody decent, you know. Especially on the British tours, it's only 7 or 8 shows.
Good evening, I'm Paul from Classic Rock Russia. So my question is, well, a bit philosophical maybe, but you know, rock music was always involved from rock and roll and rhythm and blues to glam rock and then to hair metal and so on. So do you think there is still a way for rock music to evolve, and do you think that there will be new bands of, you know, caliber of Beatles and Queen and Def Leppard? Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's nowadays we live in a very niche world. There's so much entertainment, there's so much media out there. I don't think that we will probably see another band that will have the worldwide ubiquity and the influence of a band like Queen or the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, only because in this day and age, like I said, everyone only gravitates to what is of interest to them. But that's not to say that there isn't the talent out there. There's a lot of great music being made. It's a lot easier nowadays to make records, as Joe said earlier. Young bands are producing themselves because you no longer need to go into a very expensive studio for a year or 6 months to make a record. You can do it at home on a laptop with some software and some good microphones. So there's a lot out there. What's really changed is the filtering system is not the same. In days gone past, you had to pay the gatekeeper, which was the record company. You had to play by the rules of the 3 media stations to get on the television. And once you were accepted and you'd paid the toll, then you could go on and reach a lot of ears. There's some great talent out there. It's just unfortunate that you really have to go and look for it yourself. That's been the major thing that's changed in the record industry. But to answer your question directly, I do think that rock music will survive because there's always going to be angst that can only be expressed through the aggression of rock music. And I think at different times in the human life, we go through these times where we really need to kick a fucking hole in a wall. And rock music is the only soundtrack that is suitable for that. So I sense that rock music is making a bit of a comeback, that guitar-driven music is reaching the ears of a new generation. As a guitarist, I sense that a lot through my interaction in social media. I get asked a lot of guitar-centric questions by young kids around the world, and that's good. It reminds me when I was 15.
Hi, Sweden Rock. Sweden Rock magazine. You have a song called "Me and My Wine." Have you ever thought about doing like other bands and going into the wine business?
Good. Yeah, it's a good reference point there. Well, I've got a beer. I've got 2 beers in Ireland. I've got the Down and Outs beer, and I've got one called Louder. We're forever being asked if we want to get involved in stuff like wine or coffee or beer and stuff like that. So we haven't done it yet, but we wouldn't say no. You know, it'd have to be the right one. We would have to spend a few months testing it, which means we probably have to stop playing shows for a while. So we'd save it till after the tour.
Hello, my name is Frederick. I got actually a non-philosophical question. Okay.
Where is he?
I once hi.
Sorry.
I once talked to a guy called Zach Wilde. You know the guy?
Yeah.
Seems like a quite a solid dude. I asked him, how much do you bench press? That's not the question. I'm really looking forward to your show tonight, and you've been around for quite a long time. And how the hell do you keep up?
You know, we
don't bench press.
We don't bench press. Yeah, that's one way. But
cross train, but we don't bench press.
As Joe said the other day, we were in a dressing room the size of a shoebox, and Joe said, and this really kind of encapsulated, that we've managed to do for 30-something years what Deep Purple couldn't do for 3. And Sav said, "What was that?" He said, "Share a dressing room," you know, and that. So many bands of our generation that we've worked with at festivals like this and in tours in America and whatnot, we see that they have separate rooms. Some bands even travel on separate buses, stay in separate hotels, and they only see each other on stage. But we managed to actually get along together. We genuinely like each other. I mean, we're not the Monkees. We don't live in the same house. We don't have matching pajamas. We don't go on camping holidays together, but we actually like each other. But sometimes when we don't work together, we don't see each other or talk to each other for months at a time. But when we do get together, we're here for the music, and we're here for the collective ego of Def Leppard, and we all know that the music comes first, and that people remember the songs. They don't remember my haircut or what shoes I'm wearing or what brand Joe's sunglasses are. It's about the songs, and Def Leppard has always been about the songs. To reference one of the earlier questions about Mötley Crüe, as good as Nikki Sixx is as a songwriter, they're known more for their image and their lifestyle. People will never remember Def Leppard for our lifestyle. They will only ever remember the music. And that was always, I think, the goal of the 5 people in this band from the start. Right, thank you. I'm here all night.
Hi, this is me again. You have done Las Vegas residency once. Do you think it's possible that such thing happen in Europe? And if so, where?
We have discussed this, that there aren't really many places in the rest of the world that have got the setup that Vegas has. South Africa is a possibility. I don't know, Paris, it's possible. There isn't, you can't go knocking on the door of each country saying, can we come and do a residency? You have to be invited, and Vegas is structured to be a residency venue for 50, 60 years. Started off with like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr., etc., etc. And it's moved into rock and roll. Now you've got Us, Kiss, Guns N' Roses, Mötley, Crüe, even The Who, you know, Prince, doing these residencies. It's turned very sexy and rock and roll in Vegas. There hasn't really anywhere else in the world got that same kind of infrastructure. So it is not that easy to do. As soon as somebody builds a city full of casinos somewhere in Europe with a gig like the Hard Rock, we'd be the first to do it, you know, but there isn't anything around.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming here. Give them a big hand. Enjoy that tonight. Thank you very much.
See you out there.